This is Capital City with Capital J.
Puffy come through here talking about parties where you can't wear no athletic attire,
right?
And everybody got to wear white.
Everybody,
and he gonna make sure that everybody's stuff match from top to bottom. That's a punk issue. That's not hip hop.
Say it with your chest out.
I mean, I'm just saying, man. I'm gonna tell you. If it's one period of time that I hated in hip hop was watching the bad boy movement take over and everybody want grown and sexy. All grown and sexy mean is lead the hip hop outside. Like, I don't even mind the singing, man. But it's like, yo, man, allow hip hop to be hip hop. Right. And what Puffy did was turn hip hop into R&B. And R&B already existed.
This is Capital City with Capital J.
One time for your mind is Capital City. We're in the house this evening alongside my main man,
DL Glass.
Nah, I made him put his glass down.
I was in the middle of taking that shot too.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
DL does not stand for drink less.
Drink locally.
Hey, listen up, people. About a year ago, we did a show called The Most Dangerous Profession in the World. And at that time, we were talking about just the toll that hip-hop takes on people and how it often ends in loss of life. And it wasn't just by murders. We talked about heart attacks and poor health. You know, we talked about suicides. We talked about all types of ways that one can meet their demise. But we really, it's time to revisit this topic because in the past year, since we did that first show, oh man, we lost so many rappers, and it's almost like everything that we talked about on that show, it's almost like society is like, oh yeah? You think? Well, watch this. Look, society said, hold my beer.
Right. And, I think when we did it initially, we were asking the question, was rapper the most dangerous profession?
Right. And now the answer is yes, it is.
2 times.
Definitely.
2 times.
Yes. So I think I think immediately following our last time, I don't know who it was first, but was it King Von or Mo, Mo3? How you pronounce his name? Mo3 or is it Mo? Or is it Mo3?
R.I.P.
Yeah, but
Mo3.
But we had 2,
Mo3.
I know those 2 guys were killed.
Right.
And now what we're looking at in this show today, we're going to revisit the subject. We're going to go back to the topic because we lost a whole lot of people since then.
Right.
Now we're going to go over a lot of different folks. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about all the other stuff that we talked about. But today I want to, once we get past some of these first people that we're going to name, we're going to concentrate on a particular trend that's going on.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important, like the 2, God rest their souls and all that. But the 2 people we just mentioned, I think it's important to kind of talk about. And it's not like we're experts on these cases or we know exactly what happens, but we know what was reported in the media. And I think it's kind of important because of the title of the show and what we're discussing, rapper being the most dangerous profession in the world, to talk about how these 2 guys in particular were killed and how gruesome the crime was. And I don't know if you want to start with that or.
Well, the dude Mo3.
Yeah.
It was videotaped. They chased the dude down on the highway. He jumps out of his car. He ran for his life.
Right.
The video appears to show him finally just confront the dudes chasing him like, look,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right.
And that's a tough watch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? King Von, his murder is on film as well. Mm-hmm. And since we're just gonna dive straight into the King Von story then, since we're there. I had no idea until this dude passed away that, that he was a notorious killer. It's one thing to have a body.
Allegedly.
Never
convicted.
All right.
Never convicted.
Never convicted. But he claimed the body, so alleged. It's not like anybody else alleged. He alleges himself to be a notorious killer.
Right.
And turns out that he was an actual notorious killer. Now, we talked about how the many ways that rappers can meet an early death. But for a guy who's been involved with Chicago street violence for so long, to lose his life out of town.
In Atlanta, where he was living.
Trying to beat somebody up with his fist. Is ironic to say the least.
And karma. Right.
But, it was all on videotape. Mm-hmm. And, what you see on the film is clearly a dude who, there was no surprise that incident ended the way that it ended.
Right. Because if you look at his resume, it was almost like
he's here, if this guy who has this notorious resume and rap sheet is on your case,
yes,
and attacking you, then it's deadly serious.
Absolutely, you gotta.
So I can imagine that even after the police get involved, there's going to be no, I don't think any of those guys are going to get any charges pressed against them.
Well, they got locked up, but as far as I know, they out.
The lawyers are going to get on that, man. Yeah. I mean, you got to think. Now, here's the deal about King Von. After he passed away, they're, I guess posthumously charging him for the murder of that girl, K.I.
Right.
Up there in Chicago.
Right. So
that will probably help these guys in Georgia
get off.
Mm-hmm. So when you're trying to claim self-defense, well, if the person that's attacking you has already killed people, and they're going to be able to sell the idea that these guys know that this guy is known for killing people. He said he kills people. You see what I'm saying? So this beef is deadly serious, and a deadly force was necessary, Your Honor. So I think they'll end up walking away from that.
Side note, because we're talking about King Von and him putting certain things in his music. And that's why it's a part of the reason why we can make certain statements, because he said it himself.
Right.
So
he claimed he had 7 bodies, I think. Was it right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it
was it 17?
Higher than 0.
Right.
So, and so it brings me to me reading the article about Jay-Z and Meek Mill and, their whole little group pushing to change policy that you can't use the music to present evidence in a case anymore. And, I think that's, I was thinking about that, and I was like, is that the right approach?
I don't know, but it ties straight into this trend that we were going to get around to later. We're going to jump straight into it. There's a dangerous trend now, and I'm seeing.
I'm sorry for jumping ahead.
But no, it's perfect, because we need to get right on into this, because what's going to happen is we're going to start talking about this. It's going to go long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if we need to, then this can just be the whole show.
Okay.
Now, the trend that we want to talk about today that's making hip-hop so dangerous, especially in large urban environments, is the trends of rival gangs using the music to antagonize each other.
Right.
And you see that especially in the media in Jacksonville and Chicago. In Jacksonville, Julio Fulio and Young and Ace been going at it for more than a year now, well over a year, and we've had probably 20 people dead as a result of their beef, and these are 2 crews. Now you take a place like Chicago that's even larger than Jacksonville and has had these types of problems with violence established in their community for 100 years now. You know what I'm saying? This is gang. Like when you say gang,
You think Chicago.
Chicago is the original,
Right.
you know, that's the original place that your mind goes. Now, I don't know if they're the original gang place, but you know, you think monsters, gangsters, you know, and white, black, whatever, gangs. You think Chicago.
For the sake of time, just a little bit of history about gangs. So the first documented gangs were in Chicago, but they weren't people of color per se. They were from the Polish and
Irish,
communities, because
Italians,
right? Those were deemed as ghettos that we.
The ghettos weren't originally for us because
Right.
the ghettos were too nice for black people back in the day. Can you believe it?
Yes.
They wouldn't let black people into the ghetto.
Right. So that's just a side note about gangs. So the first documented ones were in Chicago. So
Right.
And then on another note, Chicago music took so long to infiltrate other places because it was so heavily
It was specific to the area.
right. And a lot of it was about gangs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it took so long for it to get outside of there.
Right, because there's nothing you could relate to unless you're right there in the area. Everything they're talking about is stuff that's going on here using terms familiar to people around here.
Right.
And what's happening in these areas, sadly, is they're using the music to antagonize their opponents. You know what I mean? So the untrained ear is listening to a lot of this stuff.
Right.
And when these rappers who are local to areas that are having these problems with gang violence, when they get on the national radar, we don't, the general consumer doesn't understand that they're talking about beefs that have been going on for the past 6-7 years.
Right.
And they're talking about close friends that are dead and people they hate. You see what I'm saying? And what's happening is they're also influencing a generation of people who follow them to mirror these beefs in other communities, which is a problem.
And I think you should talk about Jacksonville a little bit more because you put me up on game about what was going on in Jacksonville. And when you told me about it, it had been going on for a little while at this point.
Yeah.
And all those kids and young people, I hate to call them kids, but all these young people who died. And what's your boy name? The one who did the track and went to the cemetery?
That was Julio Fulio did that one. Who I Smoke.
That dude's a monster, man.
Yeah, these are like here's the thing what these beefs are turning into is, they're taking a piece of the hip hop world and turning it in like, okay, we talked about how gang life infiltrated hip hop. Mm-hmm. Hip hop has infiltrated gang life, and they took the battle rap and turned it into, and incorporated it into these gang beefs. But rather than just being about the words,
right,
this is real.
Right.
But and the idea of, I'm going to find somebody, I'm going to say the worst thing I could say about them.
Right.
But it used to be in the name of competition. In the spirit of competition about, staying true to hip hop. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But now, when somebody's saying the worst thing I can say about you, they really mean it. So, like back in the day of freestyle MC, be like, I come over your house, I kill everybody in there.
Words.
I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And they don't mean nothing. That this over, it's like, yo, you got me, I'm through. You go work on your bars and you come back.
Right.
These dudes don't face each other face to face. They put the battle rap in the video. Mm-hmm. And when they say, I come over your mama's house and kill everybody over there, from that point on, your mama's sleeping at grandmama's house. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening today. And they brought battle rap, something that used to be a way to diffuse conflict through art, has now going back to intensifying the conflict. You know, it antagonizes things. So you got Julio Fulio down in Jacksonville. Some people from Young and Ace's crew were allegedly involved with killing one of his cousins. Mm-hmm. And later on Young and Ace's, I don't know if it was 18th birthday or 21st birthday, but he was going out to a restaurant. He had his brother and his best friend in the car.
Right.
And he got shot up, and his brother and his friend were killed. And he didn't die. But these dudes, there used to be a time when even amongst gangsters, you know, they kill each other, shoot each other in the street. You go to the funeral, and you know, and then y'all start beefing again after the drama's over. You let people grieve, and you go back to beefing. But there's a savagery to the way these dudes are doing dead opponents now. Like, you know, these dudes are going to the grave site, making videos, you know what I'm saying?
Black young,
you know, they're urinating on these dudes' images and
smoking them.
You know, the fans are calling these people's, like, you know, kids are getting killed. When I say kids, like, some of these folks are 16, 17 years old, and they get killed, and the fans of their opposition are calling their parents, saying stuff like, I'm glad your son is dead. And there's a savagery right now.
Right.
You know, they're going to the funeral and they're shooting up funerals. You see what I'm saying? And you know, so your boy's brother dies, you know, and since dude lost his cousin, he feels like it's okay to mock this guy who lost his brother.
Right.
And being a person who lost a brother, like, there's a lot of stuff that people can forgive and get over.
Right.
And whatever beef you have going on, a lot of times maybe be squashed with the right mediator.
Right.
But when you start disrespecting the dead and going to funerals and calling people's mothers, you cross the line where it can never be fixed. And people are taking it there now. And that's what happened in Jacksonville. These beefs that they got going on has crossed the line where things can never be fixed.
Right.
And it's claimed the lives of over 17 people so far. And it's gotten to a point where these artists have been so disrespectful towards each other and made one another so upset with the disrespect that they've been willing to dish out. That, you know, you had these dudes that travel from Florida to do a show in Tennessee, and dudes would follow them to Tennessee to kill them.
Right.
All the way from Florida.
All the way from Florida.
You know, you got fathers and sons getting, literally, I'm not making this up, you got father and son in jail right now.
Let me tell you something.
Who drove to another state.
Right. And that's, now this is all alleged and this is rumored. So they had I don't know if I should say this. So they had a sneaker fest in downtown Raleigh. Last year.
Right.
The sneaker fest was headlined by your Florida boys that you talking about.
Julio Fulio and Young and Ace?
Young and Ace.
Really?
What?
Okay.
So, boop, boop, boop. Flipping through news article. Some guys from Florida, Jacksonville, were caught in Chapel Hill with a small
arsenal, huh?
Like,
they were following. They were coming here and kill him.
And it was so odd that they caught them in Chapel Hill. I honestly think they went the wrong way and ended up in Chapel Hill. You know, Chapel Hill police don't play.
Right, you ain't just gonna be riding through there looking for somebody to kill.
Right. So
looking all like out of towners.
It's just funny that you said that about people coming to other states. And I think I saw an interview here recently.
You remember you talked about Young Dolph getting shot up in Charlotte?
Man.
You think that was really some people from Charlotte?
Oh, no.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Then Cameron get shot at in D.C.
In D.C., he said they threw at the rock sign. This is what Cameron said on.
Like, you know, and a lot of people accuse him of clout chasing. You know what I'm saying?
Dry snitching.
And dry snitching. But you know, if that whole incident was real, you know, it just says that for a long time rappers have been safe out of town.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And beefs will follow you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Man.
But what's going on in Jacksonville got way out of control. We spoke about that a little bit on the earlier podcast. But what I really want to get, you know, we want to talk about how this thing is mirrored in Chicago, but 10 times on a 10 times grander scale.
Right.
With O Block and golly, what's the name of the other crew? Tukaville, yes sir.
Yeah.
Hey man, you're talking about now. Here goes what's sad about these situations.
You gotta understand Chicago politics.
Outside of Chicago, I see it even where we live, like Princeville, Tarboro. At the end of the day, we're all gonna graduate from Tarboro High School together.
Right.
We're gonna play football on the same football team.
Right.
But you got guys that do all this stuff, and on the weekend they beef. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, you know, growing up, seeing this in real life, and you know,
so you understand.
So Chicago. You understand how it can happen because I've seen it. But I also come up in an era where I've seen how these dudes can be civil to each other. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? The difference in what I saw growing up in the neighborhood beefs versus, you know, then versus now. Like, let's say at worst, one of them dudes catch one of them other dudes somewhere they shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. Worst thing happened to him, he get beat up.
Yeah. Right.
They will shoot you right in the face.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And back then, neither one of these guys would take a carload of people over there and go kill somebody and then ride back over to, like, you know, nobody's gonna ride from Princeville into Tarboro.
Right.
Kill somebody and ride back to Princeville.
Right.
And then make a video.
Right. And say they
shoot a music video
right.
about the dude that just died.
Yeah.
Knowing that these are the people that killed this dude.
Back then, but nowadays they do it.
They do that now.
Right now.
They do that now. You see what I'm saying?
Right now.
Right. So this is the kind of stuff that's going on today. And in Chicago, that thing got way out of control because I started doing a little bit of research on the King Von story. You know, I was interested because the first time I saw King Von, I heard Crazy Story. You know, I'm watching the video. I was like, this, you know, it's interesting. I got that's the stamp I put on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Cap, what you think about this? I watch it, I listen. It's interesting.
Right.
So I wanted, you know, I'm just like,
you text me after you saw it. You said,
after I saw the video,
you said, "Man, I didn't know."
Oh yeah, I didn't know the dude was a killer.
What?
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here looking at the video. I'm saying, thinking this dude's about 15, 16 years old. He in the streets, obviously.
Yeah.
But as time went on and I learned a little bit more about the situation, the reality is there are a lot of King Vons out there.
Hell yeah.
Now, let's in the King Von story. King Von represents O Block. Yeah. Now, O Block is called O Block because one of their homies got killed. His name was O something. I'm not even gonna be disrespectful and say the wrong name.
Right.
But they represent that guy.
Right.
Who's O. Mm-hmm. You know, so Tukaville represent Tuka, who got killed. Mm-hmm. But these places only a block apart, 63rd and 64th Street.
Chicago is block by block.
Mm-hmm. It's a grid.
Right.
So these guys are a block apart, so obviously they all went to school together. They rode the same school bus to go to school at one point. So in all these beefs evolved on Twitter. So if you really want to follow what's going on, you know, Twitter keeps a history of everything. Mm-hmm. So you can look at the beefs escalate through Twitter.
Right.
After somebody kills, you see them jaw back and forth about it.
Right.
Well, that's why your boy is 6 feet under now.
Right.
Rest in peace. Mm-hmm. Not rest in peace, rest in piss when they really want to be disrespectful.
Right.
So you see all this stuff on Twitter that happened before I'd heard of King Von, or before, like this dude, he's gotten away with murder. Mm-hmm. Before we even heard him, he had gotten away with murder.
Right. Shit, by the time we heard him, he had just came home from being a murder trial.
And Lil Durk gave him the avenue to to hopefully get out of the streets. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that association, that close association with King Von, put a target on Durk too. You see what I'm saying?
Because he ended up with a case in Atlanta too.
Well, they're all associated now, and they had Rico on them all day for some of the murders. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But with King Von, there was this girl that he allegedly killed, and that was shocking to me. Because, after looking at some of the text messages, they would text each other back and forth.
They were friends.
It's like they were frenemies.
Yeah.
In the truest sense of the word, they were frenemies. And it let me know that this dude is a sociopath. You see what I'm saying? You don't have regular feelings. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Right. And you're seeing a lot of this, like in the Bronx, there's a K-Flock. You know what I'm saying? More recently, he just killed this guy that saw him walking down the street. He came out the barbershop to confront him, and then the dude ended up dead. Right. But this dude be on Instagram riding through opponents' territory, hollering at folks out the window. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
shout out on DJ Drewski.
DJ Drewski?
Yeah, from New York, because DJ Drewski is receiving a lot of flack right now because he said that he's not going to perpetuate the beefs anymore by playing any drill music that is
right. Folks getting killed behind this stuff, man.
And he's the first one to take that stance.
Right. And they, it's tough because the sad part about this trend is that if people are using the music to perpetuate beefs, then the spillover comes to the live shows. And I'm telling you this as a parent and as a fan of hip hop as a whole. This makes the game more dangerous.
Absolutely.
So you got to think, like, who's going to be willing to go to a show after a while? This, right. This kind of stuff going on.
Who's on the bill? Because you look at J. Cole's Dreamville Festival that's coming up.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything like that there. I'm just saying, but with these guys in particular.
Absolutely.
Like the guy that King Von jumped on before he got shot. He was saying that now he can't perform anywhere.
Quando Rondo.
Quando Rondo's career is basically over. Because, he can't go do a live performance because nobody's going to be willing to insure their building or open up, understanding that you just killed a dude, your crew killed a dude that already killed 7 people.
Absolutely. And
they're part of beefs that they've been killing each other back and forth up there for years now. Since 2011, 2012, they've been shooting each other dead back and forth.
Them.
That's just them and their crew. And you done killed one of these dudes, and you think you gonna come to my club?
Well, Quando Rondo
and
just
put on a show.
Started back getting shows. I think October, November, the later part of last year.
Right.
So, but I get
right.
Yeah.
But this type of stuff. So it makes it's sad for the whole community.
Yes.
That there's a faction of hip hop that's taking part in this. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes it hard on everybody, man. It's gonna be hard on the venues. Like my kids may not get to see live. They're not gonna get to experience live hip hop the way that I did. Like there may come a time where just live hip hop show at a club just might be something that people just not gonna be willing to do 10 years from now, 5 years from now.
But you know what? So I try to make the distinction between hip hop and rap. Like, I give credit to the hip hop artists.
There's some rap stuff going on right here.
This is rap stuff all day.
day.
You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important to say rapper, not hip hop.
Yeah.
Is the most dangerous. No, rapper is the most dangerous.
Rapper is dangerous.
Profession.
Right. Dudes is doing it for the love of hip hop, man. Ain't nobody trying to shoot you.
You know what I'm saying?
Trying to shoot
and if the industry was different, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. If the machine, and I don't care if the person is independent or not, if the machine wasn't behind this, if y'all wasn't pushing this within our community, because that's what half of y'all think that we are like anyway, then this wouldn't even be an issue. Like, YouTube should shut this down right away.
Sometimes I'm appalled. Like, why is this available?
Why does this have 6 million views?
You're like, why is a killer able to get on YouTube, smoke an illegal drug, holding an illegal gun, bragging about doing illegal activity? I don't get it.
And Pete Gang,
but hey,
they gave O.J. Simpson almost 30 years in prison for going to that hotel room and getting his memorabilia back from these people. They call him a robber. Why is it that YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and all these other outlets allowing these criminals to capitalize on criminal activity? You know what I mean?
Because they're capitalizing.
Absolutely.
In the story.
And I know I use OJ, but you always using the sports as a metaphor when we talking about hip hop. So that's why I thought about OJ. But it's the same thing.
In a capitalist society, entities do everything they can get away with. In the story.
And if Jay-Z, and I'm a fan of Jay-Z, I like what he does for the community and stuff like that. But if you like I think Charleston J. White said this. If this is what you're spending your time on, saying that they can't use music to incriminate or charge these people or get evidence against them for crimes they have committed, you wasted your time. You could be better using your time to do something else. Because if me telling on myself for a crime that I committed isn't admissible in court, then what are we here for?
Right.
These dudes are telling on themselves. Why do the police have to do work if they telling on themselves?
Hey, down in Jacksonville, that's one thing that's happened in Jacksonville. The police have a unit assigned strictly to just deciphering the videos.
Everywhere do. Now?
Yeah.
Everywhere do. Back home, they got one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, man, I talked to an officer who told me about these kids. He showed me, he talked about 3 different murders that happened in small honey. and they talking about it. They make songs about, they sitting there talking about smoking this one and smoking that. That's what it means. I killed, or my homeboy killed this dude. Like, come on, bruh. These, like you said, sociopaths.
That's the trend. So the disturbing trend nowadays is sociopathic MCs
Yes.
rapping about their serial killings.
Damn.
We got serial killers on the microphone.
Wait a minute.
This is Capital City with Capital J.
Say that again, man.
Sociopathic rappers bragging about their serial killings.
That's deep, man.
That's what's going on out here. And you got to be careful. Like, now here goes the part where I'm going to sound a little bit preachy, but you got to be careful what you feed your children. You know what I mean? I remember people were a different kind of bold after NWA came out in the face of authority.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't the NWA made people just go crazy and spit in the police's face, but they were a little bit more defiant.
Right.
You know, after hearing F the police a few times in the car, you know what I mean?
Liquored up.
And so, there's power. There's power in words, and there's power in imagery. And the imagery today is, these beefs and this sociopathic behavior and this not caring. Like, when people die, the beef is over. And, when you keep the beef going and you have to disrespect a dead person, urinate on somebody's grave, harass somebody's mother. Like, these are things that, that's heartless.
Heartless.
Like, whatever feelings you have for somebody, even an opponent or an op, once they're dead, it's over. Should be over.
Should be over.
Anything you do from that point on will get you new opposition.
Mm-hmm.
You had a beef with one person, that person is dead. If you want beef with their whole family, you go over there and urinate on their grave.
Right.
Then you just bought 25 new enemies.
Right.
And that's what's happening. And and these situations are intensified for nothing. So this thing that we see over and over again in Chicago and Jacksonville, we see in Detroit, we see in the South Bronx, we see it in Baltimore. And these dudes are racking up views, and the people outside of the areas are not understanding that you're supporting a murder machine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you really even understand.
So, DJ Academics is popular among the young folks.
Right.
For,
Yeah.
Okay, so Vic Mensa went to Everyday Struggle when DJ Academics and Joe Budden had the show on Complex.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, I didn't really consider or think about what Vic Mensa was saying to Academics as far as him wanting to slap him. Because he told him, like, if we were meeting in a different setting, I would slap the out of you because of what you report on Chicago music. And then I had to sit back and reflect on it because, I have a different perspective on Chicago and Chicago music just for my time there. So the stuff that I see now that the world is just getting, or the country is just getting an introduction to now within the last 5 years or so since Chief Keef, I already knew that stuff was going on in Chicago. And like I said, the music was always there. This gang stuff within the music was always there. It was just contained to the city.
Right.
Like, I remember
So they've been going in on each other.
What? I remember when I first moved to Chicago, it was two important events that I witnessed while I was there. The first thing, the day I moved there, I saw a billboard of Lupe Fiasco. He had an Adidas deal.
Mm-hmm.
Lupe Fiasco didn't even have Kick Push out for the rest of the country when he had this Adidas deal. So that let me know how big Lupe Fiasco was in Chicago. 2004 is when I moved to Chicago. 2005, maybe 2006 is when Kick Push came out to the rest of the country. And most people didn't even know Lupe had this Adidas deal.
Right.
2005, 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying movement hit. And he came out with a video game. So I rock with 50 Cent, but then again, I don't rock with 50 Cent because I saw 50 Cent put on the south side of Chicago in the hundreds, the wild hundreds. He put up a billboard with him with his bulletproof vest on, holding these two guns for his video game. And the people in the city protested for them to take this billboard down. So all of this stuff that we see that we think is so new in Chicago, like, man, and this stuff was going on way before I was there.
Right.
A good representation of, and I think it'll give people a better understanding of where we are as a country. When I talk about these rappers and stuff and this drill music, is a book that I was introduced to called The Spook That Sat by the Door.
Mm-hmm.
Great read.
Right.
The CIA trained this man, and he went back to Chicago and basically took over one of the largest gangs in Chicago based off his CIA training. And they talk about this gang stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I think it just gives, it lets you know the dangerous nature of this music. And I like drill music.
It's nothing to play with.
It's nothing to play with. I like drill music.
Right. Kind of like a seance.
And what's a seance? If you read,
you don't mess with that.
You don't do those things because it's demonic.
Yeah.
Demonic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In nature.
Right.
And that's where we are now. You know what I'm saying? Like this is almost like spirituality. It's a lack. The light is out, man.
You know what I'm saying?
These dudes ain't even lyrical.
No, it's. Hey, man, it's not about the music.
No,
it's about disrespecting. It's about being as absolutely disrespectful as you could possibly be.
Right.
And that's, like I said, it's just a recipe for disaster, man. And it kind of hurts me in a way to see how young these people are, because they get killed when they're at their silliest.
Right.
And I'm not saying, like, anybody that's in this age range that's listening to me right now, you might be mad at me for saying this, but one day you're going to be my age and you're going to look back at yourself now. If you live through whatever you're going through.
Right.
Everybody does it. It's not just me. It's dudes that's been to jail. It's doctors. It's lawyers. It's child molesters even. Everybody gets to a point. And they say, I was out of control when I was this age or that age.
Right.
Because life is growth. And wherever you are now is not where you're going to be, no matter even the most hardened gangster of all of us. Now, you got some dudes that are Crip out, Blood out, or gangsters, disciples for life, and they might be 50 years old, still rocking the colors and all of that stuff.
They corny.
But for the most part, most people move to a different place as they mature and get older. And the thing that saddens me is when I see a young person invest so heavily in where they are that they can't get anywhere else in the future. So, and I say that, like, even if you invest too heavily in gang life right now, then it's going to be harder for you to move into your next phase. Because you will reach your next phase one day. There's going to be something that's going to make you want something different one day.
Right.
And the thing that saddens me that we're in a place right now where life is valueless to so many people.
Yes.
But one day, even to those people that life doesn't mean anything at 18, 19, 20, even those people mature and reach a point where they realize that life is valuable.
Right.
For the most part. This happens. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Even some of these people that we're describing as sociopaths right now aren't true sociopaths. Some of them are lost right now.
Right.
And going to wake up one day. It's only a handful of them are true sociopaths and will never change.
Yes.
The rest of them are being led astray by something that they can't, a peer pressure that they can't, turn away from.
Right.
So that's what bothers me, and since these people are becoming the peer pressure for other people, and being in this game so long, I've seen how impactful the music is. Like I said, we've already been through that thing where our community wasn't the place to get oral copulation. But after Akinyele came out, Put It In Your Mouth, this is how powerful our music is. Akinyele, Put It In Your Mouth, turned our culture into a place where you could get oral sex just as easy as you could in other cultures.
Right.
And that wasn't how it was before that song came out.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
I can honestly say it was easier to get head after that song came out than it was before.
Come on, man! Like that after that song, head became third base when it used to be a grand slam.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
and now it's first base.
Yeah.
It's
but that's not how our culture was, and that's an example of how music can change a culture, and this is a warning to the community that this has the possibility of changing the culture in a negative way. Mm-hmm. You know, I had a conversation with somebody the other day. Like, you know, there are a few pivotal moments, and you don't realize till later how important they were and how bad certain things were. Like, you know, like there was a time I told people back in the day, Tupac is bad for business. Nobody want to listen to me.
Right.
It's not that I have anything against Tupac or his music, but what he was doing, you know, I could see this as a hip hop consumer,
right,
for years and years. Like, this is bad for hip hop.
Absolutely.
His presence is bad for hip hop. 50 Cent's presence was bad for hip hop.
Terrible for hip hop.
And, you know, some people may disagree. Puffy was bad for hip hop.
No. They were a part of the rap game.
Right.
They were not a part of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And see, that's why it's important to have this dialogue.
Right. That's why I say Puffy was good for the rap game, but bad for hip hop.
Absolutely.
Like the rise of Puffy signified the end of hip hop as we knew it before. That's the end of two turntables. It's the end of walking in here and doing this thing from a grassroots way and being able to get away with putting out a Wu-Tang Clan album. You know,
sure you want to say that?
No, I'm just being real. Like, you know, he cleaned it up to the point. Like, you got to think about what hip hop was at its rare essence. You know what I'm saying? At its absolute essence, it was analog. It was raw. It was hardcore. It's two turntables. It's a microphone. It's Puffy is. Like, that's not two turntables and a microphone. No. Puffy is a studio, 48 tracks,
right?
Engineering,
right?
You know what I'm saying? It's still, you know, I walk a fine line between saying it's hip hop in its highest form or it's the beginning of what we call rap taking over and hip hop as we know it being like all of a sudden, like, let's take Puffy's music. Not one Puffy song did you hear a DJ do a scratch. That's what I'm talking about. That's not hip hop. Like, I mean, I don't want to say I can't define what hip hop is. I don't never want to be a person who walk in here and tell you what hip hop is and what hip hop ain't. But I'm trying to tell you that the hip hop that you knew and what it was ended when Puffy became the main purveyor of consumption hip hop.
Dr. Dre too?
Then no, Dr. Dre kept the hip hop in it in a different way than Puffy did for a longer time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
yeah, I do understand what you're saying though, because he took the scratching out. But Dr. Dre is a DJ. He is a hands-on, experienced DJ who's made mixtapes and been on and done a mix show and done all this stuff. Dr. Dre is...
But he went from hip-hop to rap music.
Right. He did. He made a transformation, but you know, what Dr. Dre does is different than what Puffy did. There's a different type of raw. Puffy is the father for what hip-hop, for what rap is today. Puffy is the father of this. Because he knows he sold the whole culture out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Listen. I did not mean to cut you off, but just right along why I say this.
Yeah.
We're hip hop, man, and Puffy come through here talking about parties where you can't wear no athletic attire.
Right.
And everybody got to wear white. And he gonna make sure that everybody's stuff match from top to bottom. That's a issue. That's not hip hop.
This is Capital City, Capital J.
Say it with your chest out.
I mean, I'm just saying, man. I'm gonna tell you. If there's one period of time that I hated in hip hop was watching the bad boy movement take over and everybody want grown and sexy. All grown and sexy mean is lead the hip hop outside. Like, I don't even mind the singing, man. But it's like, yo, man, allow hip hop to be hip hop. Right. And what Puffy did was turn hip hop into R&B. And R&B already existed. and we had hip hop so that we would not have to dress up to go to the club. And he turned around and brought that bitch back to hip hop, and I hated him for it. You know, not hate him, but I hated that time period. That's a bitch because if you want to dress up and go to the club, you can take your ass to the mama and papa club and dance to Anita Baker. But over here, we playing Wu-Tang Clan and we got on Tim's and we get crunk.
And that's why Dr. Dre would not let Mary J do any of her hip hop classics at the Super Bowl. Because he understand that. Everybody want to see Mary J do the joint with Method Man and all these other people and all this shit. No, Dr. Dre said, no, if you gonna sing some R&B, what brought you in this game? Well, you came in
hip hop. No, Mary J came in on hip hop.
No, but Puff made her hip hop. Before she got introduced to Puff, Andre Harrell had Mary J singing straight hip hop. That's why
straight R&B.
I mean straight R&B. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then when Puff got his hands on her,
he turned her into a mixtape.
Absolutely.
Like listen, here's where a lot of people like Puff is going to get credit. He's going to go down and they're going to say, "Oh, he did this, he did this, he did that." Right. What Puff Daddy did
was Capital City with capital J.
What Puff Daddy did was take the work of Ron G and SNS and all these cats that were making these magnificent blend tape and put out the music instead of letting them blend it after the fact. He just did it ahead of time. You see what I'm saying? That's all it was. That's all it was. So was he innovative? No. Was he ahead of the game? No. Did he create anything? No.
Nope.
So, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to, I'm not trying to appear as a hater, man, but, there's a such thing as way overrated. And, Puffy gets the kind of credit. He gets the kind of credit that white dudes get when they discover some ish black people been doing forever.
This is Capital City with capital J.
I like this. I think we need to stay right here, man. I think this is where we need to be, man.
I'm just keeping it real, though, man.
Let's talk to our fans, man. Our fans are very specialized fans to listen to this podcast.
You know what I'm saying?
This is the shit they want to talk about.
Puffy's like Elvis. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Like, good gracious. And the thing is, like it I don't know, a lot of that stuff kills me, man. It kills me when people get credit for what Cat's been doing for so long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't got in a whole nother lane. Are we still even talking about dead rappers? Or we just on some other shit right now? This
is a part of why rapper is the most dangerous profession.
Well, here it is. And it ties in too with Puffy and because a lot of this, the danger in crews beefing and becoming deadly violent started with Biggie. Puff and Suge.
Yes.
But before Biggie. Biggie, it's Puff and Suge. Really?
Yeah.
Here's what, like a long time ago, Puff and Suge, like they have, this is like, I'm just going to start speaking about what I hear on the other side of the game.
Okay.
This is what I hear. What I hear is that Suge never liked Puff.
Never. Right.
Like this is just what I hear. I don't know why. He just never.
Should never liked him because of the shit you saying right now. And why?
And here goes what I've seen about Suge. Now this is just from my time in the industry. Mm-hmm. But what I've seen, everybody in the industry is scared of Suge. When Suge walk in the room, everybody shuts up.
Yes.
And what I found is that for people in the know,
mm-hmm.
it's the same thing with Puffy on the East Coast.
Yes.
Puffy come in the room. If you know Puffy well enough,
right,
then I came to the conclusion that he must be genuinely dangerous at some level. Because I recognize a certain level of respect that people who are in the know around him seem to give him, and it's the same energy they give Suge inside of a circle. And I'm going to tell you, I've seen it. I'm just telling you what I've seen. But now, with these two dudes, now Suge, I'm not, just because, now to be a dangerous person doesn't mean that more people are scared of Puffy beating him up than Suge beating him up.
Okay.
You can create a certain amount of respect and fear with the power and influence you have. And Puffy had that type of power and influence. With Suge, it was physical. With Puff, it was his influence and his power.
Thank you.
Suge was actual physical presence that nobody like you. I could tell dudes didn't want to look him in the face.
Right.
With Puffy, it's more of a you don't want to offend him because he might send goons after you. Suge would beat your ass.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And this the difference. He'll beat your ass right there on the spot. Like there was a Jack the Rapper convention in like '93, and yeah, Puffy, Suge, like the reports from what I hear. You know, I remember cats. I didn't go to that one, but
Right.
cats that went came back and told me Suge Knight turned that thing out. And also, if my memory serves me correct, I might have to go back and do the research, but I think that's the weekend that one of Puffy's bodyguards killed Suge's homeboy. That's from that point on. I think that that Suge was going to get Puffy anyway. Something was going to happen.
So Suge did an interview recently where because they've been trying to play Suge.
Yeah, they think like he's soft because he in jail. He can't get nobody.
Man,
yeah,
Suge
Puff's
sound
bodyguard killed Suge's homeboy. And this happened way before you heard about any beef between Big and Tupac. Big and Tupac is not signed to Death Row when this happened.
Right. So
See
that
what I'm
makes
saying?
sense as to why.
So Suge
made
was
this
already all on top of, like, he walked in there and said, all in the video. Like, this had already happened. This happened in '93.
Right. It
You see
wasn't
what I'm
talking
saying?
about no Jermaine Dupri.
No, he was talking about Puffy.
Right.
Like he had beef with
Right.
Puffy from back then. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing from in the industry, from people who are in the industry
Right.
as it's happening. You know what I'm saying? So back in '93, dudes come back like, yo, man, that cat Suge Knight in California that run Death Row Records is real. This is the reports I'm getting in '93.
Oh, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, this dude is a real gangster and everybody's scared of him.
Right.
So,
Because he knew what he wanted.
right, and Tupac, ain't nobody think about Tupac.
Hell no.
You see what I'm saying? At that time.
Pac was not no gangster, man.
I mean, but it's 1993. Like, Juice was about to come out, I think.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Or Juice
Yeah.
had just come out. So he's not even associated with Death Row good yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the introduction of a real gangster. Now, you got to think about this. Suge Knight and Eazy-E were real gangsters.
Hell yeah. That's why Dre went and got Suge.
Right. And you see, and look what's been happening inside of hip hop since then.
Yeah. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Like, there was, rap beef was one thing. They brought this real street beef into this. Like, Jerry Heller said that the Eazy-E's manager back in the day from NWA, he said that there was an interview. He said he should have let Eazy. He said he should let Eazy kill Suge.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But he said they talked about it. He was like, I don't know, But he's like, when he looks back on it, he should have let Eazy-E kill Suge.
Jerry was just as dangerous as.
Oh yeah, he's ruthless. Hey man, listen. To get to certain heights, there's only a certain distance you're gonna be able to get without being ruthless.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, to step over a certain point, there's gonna come a point in your life where your success is gonna be hampered by your ability to, are you able to be ruthless and heartless or not? If not, then you're gonna stop here, and the person that's willing to do anything is gonna keep right on going.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I've been there, and here I am. I'm here talking to you now.
Right. I get it.
I'm not willing to do anything for $1 or for anything.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got principles and certain stuff that I ain't gonna do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, since now, as we as we come full circle with this thing, I know we got sidetracked for a little while, but we started talking about how dangerous being an MC is, right?
A rapper.
And a rapper, but we're gonna talk since we didn't pay homage to all these people that passed away since the last show that we did.
Yes.
Talking about MCs and whatnot that have passed on. So since then, I mean, DMX died since then, man. Come on, man.
Crack cocaine.
You know what I'm saying? X, Prince Marky D passed away. Biz Markie died. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, man, people getting out of here. And nobody, like I said, nobody in hip hop is old enough to be dead yet from old age.
Right.
So we sit here naming people that have died, but none of these people should be dead. Not even the veterans that we naming. Black Rob's dead. Black Rob ain't supposed to be dead. He was 52, 53, 52 years old. He ain't supposed to be dead.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Dude had 4 strokes before he died. So, you know,
abuse.
and we talked about this. We talked about rappers not taking care of themselves and how the lifestyle, there's no insurance at the end of all of this. So one thing, man, if you rapping right now, for you rappers that aren't just doing this to antagonize your ops, if you're going to do this, man, save some money, put some money aside, man, and take care of your health.
Absolutely.
'Cause you're going to get old one day. I know nobody want to believe when they're 25, 26 that you'll be 50 one day, but you will.
Right.
If God forbid, God,
Sign
God
to
willing.
a major and put that in your contract, man.
Right,
You need
right.
some health insurance.
Right. Shock G died. You know what I'm saying? He's been dealing with drug addiction, so he falls under the drug addiction category. Poor fella.
Mm-hmm.
But Shock G is the guy from Digital Underground, the Humpty's Dance. He was the guy that wore the Humpty Hump nose, so Humpty Hump was actually Shock G.
Why he remind me of Skibo?
Yeah. Yeah, they did kind of Shock G and Skibo kind of remind me of each other. You're right.
Yeah.
Let me see. We got a whole list of other rappers. Now, here's the thing. The reason we say rap is such a dangerous profession is because I got a long list of names that you might not have ever heard. But you go on YouTube, you see these people's videos, they got 1 million views. So people heard of these folks. If you
Right.
got 1 million views on YouTube for a song, you are a rapper.
Yes.
Whether I heard of you or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We can classify them as rappers.
Right. Double K, he passed away.
Forgot about your boy.
We got Young Dolph. We didn't even get into the Young Dolph situation. The dude that killed him, man, he had been in the videos with him, hadn't he?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Allegedly.
He was a rapper too.
Allegedly.
What was that dude's name? Well, he's in jail, man. Everybody know he did it.
Well, actually,
I forgot his name.
he ain't in jail no more.
Oh, he ain't in jail no more?
They caught him in Indiana, and somehow or another, Indiana released him. So
Oh, wow.
last I heard, they were looking for him because Indiana released him, but they kept the guy who was driving the car that they caught him in. They kept him, but they released the guy who actually was, and then it's been 3 other people who've been locked up. It's just a lot with Young Dolph. Rest in peace to that brother, man. because
Hey, I hate that
he was
that
doing
thing
some good stuff.
happened. I hated that happened. Like, this dude had just left a cancer unit at the hospital,
Right.
talking to cancer victims, picking up cookies for his mom.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. That's clout chasing right there. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what kind of beat they had, but
Yeah.
silliness. You know what I mean?
FBG.
FBG Duck got caught up in that Young Dolph, that King Von stuff. Now, see the difference in Duck and Von. Von was out here like, the street said he had bodies. He said he had bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Duck, on the other hand, he was a dude who his brother had gotten killed. He was
They killed this dude on Michigan Avenue, man.
yeah.
One of the most popular
He
spots.
killed him in front of the Fendi store or the Gucci store, one of them
It was
expensive
like
stores.
Rodeo Drive of Chicago.
Right. So and he didn't have any bodies on him.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
no.
So this a dude that, is living in an area where he's surrounded by all this foolishness. His brother gets killed. His mama said, don't go out trying to kill the people that kill your brother. Channel this in the music. He started going hard, He even went so far as to make a song called Chicago Legends. In that song, he shouted out a couple of dudes from opposing gangs
Right.
that had been killed that he didn't know, but he just gave like, yo, shout out such and such. I heard he was real, you know. And that wasn't enough. Like, dudes are so savage that wasn't enough to soften anybody. So they kept going in, and somebody else from his crew got killed, which led him to make another one called Dead Bitches. And he got killed a couple of months after he made Dead Bitches. The important thing about even having a second part to this show was to make y'all aware that there's a dangerous trend going on, and it's heading in a bad direction. And we seen, you know, there's certain trends in hip hop that when bad trends take hold, it just messes things up for a long time. Takes things a while to get back to how they used to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want the latest trend in hip hop to be our music videos are just ways to antagonize beefs and get stuff started and keep stuff going, make it worse than it already was. Like, we got enough of that going on. We can use this music for something better than that. So we need to make y'all aware. And if you're not aware, be careful about what you listen to and what you support. Because what you put your money into, like it said, King Von, every time he sold records, he took that money, went back, and he armed his crew. And they went out and killed so many people with the money that he was using to finance all this violence and evil. So, just be careful. Pay attention. Listen to the words. Listen to what people are talking about. You know what I'm saying? You got a choice in what you support. Well, you gotta learn what to look for.
Stop looking.
You know
for
what
trends.
I'm saying? Like for example, pop out at your party. Right, the song sounds cute. It sounds fun and everything, but that ain't a song about coming to your party to enjoy
Polo G.
Yeah, Polo G. That ain't a song about just coming to the party and have a good time with the girls that's there.
Right.
A pop out, that implies I'm coming to tear something up, lay somebody down. So, just pay attention to the lyrics, because when you support that, then this dude's telling you this is what I'm singing about. This is the life. So no matter what it sounds like, the audio profile says this music is fun and happy, but
they play this at the NBA,
content is really
NFL
not.
game.
Right. And this amounts, when you do this over and over again, it amounts to programming.
And talking about Polo G, his mama just recently, in the past few months, had to defend her life because her sons are there talking about popping up at somebody's party.
See? Yeah, man. It's real. People are crazy out here. And that influence, like I said, the BET, I don't think BET would have showed any of these videos. Not at least not early. Maybe on BET Uncut. So
not even Uncut, because Uncut was more so about the
yeah, and they always
stuff.
cut the guns out. Right. So you got to understand that BET being black entertainment television owned by a black man, they wouldn't have sold it. We would never have sold this to ourselves. Just understand that.
Right.
When the black man was in charge of black entertainment television, we did not have this imagery on television.
Right.
It's on YouTube along with the full unedited versions.
And
this is something that you would not find when you were receiving your video content from television. You were not going to get the guns and the hoes and the words that you're getting now. So it's the Wild West on YouTube, parents, and every child in America got a cell phone. And this is the diet. This is what they eating. This is what they feeding their brain. And, if they like hip hop, you got to make sure that the hip hop that they're digesting isn't turning them into a socio. The rap music they're digesting is not turning them into a sociopathic serial killer.
This is Capital City with Capital J.